Okay. I think we got it right, and what's exciting is today, not only are we here on Zoom like we always are, and we're here on Facebook like we always are, but I think if I did it right, on Facebook, we are horizontal. We are landscape format on Facebook. So let's check that out, and let's see if that worked. I got my tablet here to monitor Facebook. We're going to pull that up, and then we're going to get ready to get started with our program. Everybody's checking in. Everybody's good today. Show me a thumb if you're good today. And we got an exciting live piece of today's demo. I'm going to be doing something live online in class that I've never done before. That's going to be cool. Let's scroll down and let's just see if we are live landscape. Okay, it looks like the feed is coming in landscape, but it's showing up on Facebook vertically with a landscaped image, if that's correct. That may drive some people just crazy, but I don't know if it is being recorded in landscape or not. And again, this was a experiment, as you can imagine. Let's see what the comments are, because chances are people are commenting that it's sideways. Hey, Ivan, you're sideways. Yep, sideways. All right, I'm going to flip that camera just back to standard orientation because I don't want anybody to have a tough time with this here. So let's get us the way we normally are, just like it should be. Okay, Facebook tribe, let me know that this is the way it is. Let me lower just a little bit. Let me get this just the way we want it. Hey, I appreciate you guys being patient with the tech. You know, it takes a village, I guess, to do these kinds of things. And we'll see in just a moment when Facebook catches up if it flips to the proper orientation. But welcome in. It is Tuesday. Today is the 12th of May, and we've got some fun today. Inspired by yesterday, I've had to change the technical program is going to be detailing. We're going to be talking about the little things, the nitty and the gritty of men's haircuts. You know, yesterday when we were reading $100,000 Haircutter, one of the things that came up was a tip about the little things don't mean a lot, they mean everything. So we started talking about the little things as they relate to men's haircuts, and I thought there's a whole program there on the little things. So that's what's going to be our technical program for 9 o'clock this morning. And then I'm very held over from last week when we canceled because of my little bit of vocal challenge that I had the end part of last week, is the program today on building membership programs. And I've always been a big fan of haircut membership. We'll explain what that is and how that works. The subject right now because of the fact that in the cosmetology and barber industry, we may be experiencing, I don't know if it's only temporary or if it is going to have longer term ramifications than that, but we may be experiencing what we'll call the death of the walk-in. It is very possible that walk-in service, as we've known it in the past, going to be gone. They're telling us now to be working appointment only. They're telling us now to shut down our waiting rooms. They're telling us to do a lot of things with regards to how we manage some of these shops and situations, and memberships may be a key to managing cash flow, managing business in a creative way, and building business. So we're going to do a deep dive at 11 o'clock into the ideas associated with how to, you know, what is it really, and then how to build, structure, and execute membership programming for haircutting or other, not just haircutting, other beauty services as well. So that's the 11 o'clock program. Quick review, the balance of the week. Tomorrow, Thursday, we're going to do, or Wednesday, we're going to do Clipper Clinic again. We're going to dig into the archives in the vault and in my Museum of Clipper Collection. And then 11 o'clock is a program on how to structure and execute charity events to build business with your hair salons and barbershops. The 14th, which is going to be Thursday, Scissor Over Comb. We're going to do a deep dive on Scissor Over Comb in the 9 o'clock, and we're going to talk about the 400, your 400 customers that make up the foundation of your business. That's a marketing program. And then on Friday, 9 o'clock is going to be Razor Line and Edge. That's a program we've seen before that there's been a great deal of interest in. And then we've got a special guest at 11 o'clock on Friday. My friend Scott's coming in. We're going to be talking about how to open your own shop, how to open your own business in our business. He's done that recently, and he's done really well with it. He's learned some lessons with it. He's going to share a little bit of his thoughts, his ideas, and his wisdom. We did mention yesterday we were excited. They have gone live on the website. The new books are in. Can't say I'd be too upset to walk in and scare me. I don't know why. I just want to know what's coming. Jennifer, one of the exciting things about this business is not knowing what's coming. Just kind of taking them as they fly by. Is that a chicken? Did you used to put up a chicken? That's cute. Big Busy Barbershop, Bigger Busy Barbershop. These are the two books, Year 1 and Year 2, Marketing to Build and Grow Your Haircut Business. The books are live online, individually or together in a combo pack. So please go online and pick up a copy of that. 100 by 100, 100 new haircut customers in 100 days. We've talked about the book. You know about the book. And there's classes based on the book week. It looks like Facebook is, it's either my tablet that's locked up or Facebook itself. I'm not sure what's going on. Says we're still live on Facebook. Can you check it out for me? Just jump on my Facebook page and see if it's still flowing properly. I can't tell. It looks like the feed might be frozen. Hang on a second. A little bit of tech. I know Zoom's working good right now. Knock on wood, we've had a couple of good days of Zoom.
It says I'm having an error loading it, but that might be on my end.
It could be on my end, too.
Yeah, it's not loading for me.
All right, it's not loading. Give me a minute here, Zoom. I'm just going to go in and restart the Facebook feed so that we can make sure we don't have a problem there. It looks like it's still working. It says it's still working. I'm not going to stop it. I'm going to stick with it. Could just be the Wi-Fi in the house here. So we're going to just assume that the world is spinning really, really well over in Facebook land. My apologies for that. Okay, let's get into $100,000 hair cutter for today. That's May 12. Let's take a look at what May 12 has in store in $100,000 hair cutter land. We take an excerpt from the book every day. This one's funny. Coincidental, as we're struggling with challenges associated with the feed on Facebook, May 12, day 132, 233 days remaining in the year. There it is, guys. Have a Facebook page. That's almost too funny to really take seriously right now as I struggle with technical challenges with the Facebook page. Have a Facebook page. Facebook is still the dominant social media network. You might not visit the site regularly, but at minimum you should have a personal page and a business page simply to make it easier for prospective clients to find you. This is from a hair cutter perspective. You can refer people to other social profiles, to your website, or to the telephone. Many of our connections today start with Facebook. It's pretty clean, it's pretty basic, it's pretty simple. A lot of the world begins with Facebook. When people go looking for you, you know, you Google something, the first thing that comes up is almost always a YouTube video because of the relationship that YouTube has with Google. But very quickly thereafter, your Facebook page pops. That's where people are used to going running to communicate with you or to look to you. We've established that as a piece of just human behavior at this point. All right, we need one more date. Anybody on Zoom want to cough up a date? Anybody on Facebook want to cough up a date? We'll go looking for a date to read an additional listing. Courtney says Feb 14. That might be Valentine's Day, Courtney. That might be an easy pick. But it's not, or is it? We'll see. February 14th, day 45 of the year with 320 days remaining in the year. Teach classes. Imagine that. Imagine I picked that one. To teach a skill is to truly understand it. Truly understanding it is to understand it at a deeper level. It is one thing to do something, it is another thing to share and teach that same thing. Sharing requires a breaking down of skills and processes. You not only need to know how to do it, you must be able to explain why you do it. Teaching other haircutters is a powerful way to polish your own skills. You can teach members of your shop team or your coworkers. You can do guest spots in cosmetology or barber schools. You can even conduct classes or seminars for other professionals, even online during coronavirus. So you kind of get where I'm coming from. Initially, it's about deepening your own learning and understanding. If you prove to have a talent for it, perhaps it can develop into a new revenue stream or aspect of your business. I did not start out in the business teaching in the business. Teaching came along later as a natural extension of my owning a business, training my staff, and sharing within the industry. And today, it is so much easier for anyone and everyone who wants to do education to do education. People come to me all the time and they say, Ivan, how do I get started doing education in the business? The answer is, you want to be an educator? What do? You educate. Get a YouTube channel. Get a Facebook page. Sign up for Zoom. Get on Twitter and start sharing. No one is holding you back. No one is stopping you. There's no longer a price of entry, and there's no longer a limit. Anyone can teach and share if they wish. Okay, that's $100,000 hair cutter for the day. We want to jump into detailing. We want to jump into the little things in our men's haircuts that mean so much in our men's haircuts. When we talk about lining, edging, detailing, trimming, we can't say we're not going to spend a lot of time with a trimmer in our hand. And we're going to start, of course, by acknowledging our friends at Barbicide. Clippercide from Barbicide. Spray the tool. Spray the tool. Every clipper, every trimmer, every client, every time, no exceptions. Never more important than it is today. It's always been important. It's only getting more important every day. And another element of sanitation and infection control that I like to touch on is what I call getting caught sanitizing. Using a product like this is not something done in the back room. Using a product like this is something that's done in front of the customer. The customer must see you do it. I've always said, if I don't see you spray the clipper, you never sprayed the clipper. It's about making that visual reference. It's about seeing that. 10 minutes, got to be wet with the product for effective disinfection to kill everything on there that you need to kill. We're going to spend a lot of time with a trimmer in our hand because we're talking about the little things, and we're going to spend a lot of time with our Zoot Comb. The Zoot Comb is our men's hair cutting multi-tool, and one of the key features of the Zoot Comb is that handle. That handle is your lining, edging, and detailing comb. I want to take you through it a little bit to understand that everything that you see here, everything going on in this handle happened for a reason. Absolutely none of it happened by accident. The handle of your comb is thin. When you look at it, you hold it and you feel it, you probably do not have another comb that is this thin. A regular conventional hair cutting comb, this is a large one, is a lot thicker. A smaller standard hair cutting comb like this is actually a lot thicker than the handle is on my Zoot Comb. It's thin to allow us to work in very close. It's also rockered, and what I mean by that is if you were to cut through the comb and look at the comb in cross section, it is thickest along the spine. It is thickest along the spine, and it gets thinner to the tips and thinner to the back edge. If you cut it in half in cross section, you would see that the comb is almost oval, or what we call oblate, meaning it's thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. That thickness at the middle allows for a natural taper rocking motion as we come in tight along the sideburns, edges, and perimeters of our haircuts. It's light gray. Again, not an accident. Dark hair, light combs, light hair, dark combs. You can't cut what you can't see. And again, very deliberate. We chose to mold the comb in a medium neutral gray, a light to medium neutral gray, because All hair colors are visible through this comb. Even white hair, where I'm very, very white at the temples, you can see that beautifully through the comb. Dark hair, no problem, as we'll see on the mannequin. And we have a curved spine, where the spine on the large end of our comb is horizontal. The spine on the small end of our comb is curvilinear. That curvilinear line mimics the natural tapering motion that we will execute when we're doing fine and detail work tapering through our haircuts. So again, nothing happened by accident in the design of a zoot comb to make it your ultimate choice for men's hair detailing, lining, edging, finishing, and small work. And the little things don't mean a lot, they mean everything. You know, I sometimes refer to this using the analogy of a picture frame. Upstairs in my house is a picture that was taken the day that my wife and I were married. A wedding photo. A lot of homes contain some type of wedding photo. Whether it is yours or that of your parents or grandparents or family members or something, we got wedding photos. Weddings are part of our culture and tradition, and we hang up these photos. But our wedding happened, and we took our wedding picture, and we ordered a large, I don't know if it's 10 by 14 or whatever it is, copy of my wife and I in our wedding photo, and it sat wrapped in a package leaned up against the wall for a couple of years. And why did it sit there like that? It sat there like that, leaned up against the wall for a couple of years because we didn't have the time. We were busy. We didn't have the time. We thought we were busy. Wait till you have kids, then you're busy. We thought we were busy. We didn't have the time to make the appropriate selection of the frame. And this is where we talk about tying this into haircutting, because the selection of the frame in which a special picture sits many times is treated as more important than the picture itself. Now, I don't think anyone's ever come into my home and looked at my wedding picture and said, wow, that's a beautiful frame. They usually look at the picture and go, wow, you were young, what the hell happened? But that's a separate conversation. But nobody compliments the frame, but we put so much emphasis on the frame because the frame really sets up the way in which you see that picture. Picture framing is a huge business and industry out there because it's worthy of and it gets an incredible amount of attention. Well, the sideburns, the ear areas, and the necklines, and perhaps the front line of your men's haircuts is the frame in which this picture sits. And as a result, I think it needs to be treated with the same degree of thought, perhaps reverence, and deliberateness, because the frame can make or break the picture. And I talk about this all the time when I ask the question, imagine a haircut. It's a perfect haircut. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's clean and it's even and it's balanced and it's symmetrical and that whole haircut is wonderful. But the lining and edging is not good. It's not crispy. It's wanky. It's off. The whole haircut sucks. It was a perfect haircut, and the lining and edging blew the haircut. Now imagine, if you will, the other way around. Imagine a haircut that's just meh. It's mediocre. It's eh. It's not great. It's an okay haircut just about every way you slice it. It's a nice haircut. It's not great, but it's okay. But imagine the lining and edging is really on point. It's crispy and it's clean and it's sharp and it's balanced. The whole haircut rocks. So if the lining and edging is on point, the whole haircut is elevated. And if the lining and edging is not, the whole haircut sucks. That's kind of the way it works. Whether you actually look at the haircut and see it that way, or whether you perceive the haircut as better or worse and aren't even consciously aware of the fact that you're making that determination driven by the impact of the lining and edging. Does that make sense? Throw me a thumb if you're on board with the idea that lining and edging can truly make or break a haircut, that really it can be the dividing line or the difference between a mediocre haircut and a haircut that is truly highly excellent. If you're with me on that, let me know. I'm going to make a slight adjustment to the camera on the Facebook feed, and then we're going to get ready to get moving. Okay. I got some comments coming in on Facebook. Looks like Facebook's with us. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Just checking up on my feed on. Wipe that stuff off. Personally. Wipe that stuff off before hitting a client. I personally get very red and uncomfortable from clipper side. There are people that do have sensitivities to a variety of products or chemicals and things like that. If that's something that's unique for you, Brandon, there you go. Yes, on point. Better, thank you. Perfect. Okay. Everybody's checking in. Everybody's looking good online. All right. And the camera is just a little crooked. Bear with me here just a little bit. All right. Just trying to make sure people can see and everything works out good. All right. Let's go back to the feed. All right. So we got our client. Let's pump up the chair. Let's get him up here so we get a good look at him. I'm going to drop the camera just a little bit on zoom. And I'm going to move the camera just a little bit on zoom. I've got my trimmer. I've got my finishing comb. Let's start with sideburns. 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 Should sideburns be even with one another? The answer is no. Sideburns should not be even. Sideburns should appear to be even, which means almost in all cases, they won't really be even. They will simply look as though they are even. So, we're going to determine which sideburn is the shorter. They're not supposed to be even. They're supposed to appear even. We're going to put the short sideburn where we want it. And notice when I come in with my trimmer, I'm going to turn the mannequin here a little bit, and I want you to see how I set up this sideburn. I come in and I block my line. My blade is 90 degrees or perpendicular to the head. I come in and I come out. I come in and I come out. And notice when I do that, I will touch the client with something first before I touch them with my trimmer. I'm going to come in, I'm going to block my line, and I'm going to back away. I'm going to come in, I'm going to block my line, and I'm going to back away. If you reach out and just tap him with that, when you tap him, he's going to jump. It's wiggling, it's moving, it's going to startle him, it's going to surprise him. You don't want to do that. You want to give him a warning. By tapping him ahead of time with your finger, you said, hey, I'm in the neighborhood, I'm getting close. Then you come in and tap. What you don't do is you don't tap your line and then drag the trimmer sideways down their face. 28 perfectly parallel bright red scratches on the side of their head. You don't want to do that. That's called rednecking somebody. I don't know where you live, but nobody wants to be a redneck. You're going to block your line, you're going to turn the tool over, and you're going to clean up. Clean up with the non-moving blade in direct physical contact with the skin. We're going to clean up in an upward motion. We don't drag the moving blade down their skin. Same thing in the neckline. We would block a line, turn the tool over, and clean up. In the case of what we call inverted growth direction, if the hair is growing up, we'll turn the tool over and we'll clean down. Once again, with the non-moving blade in physical contact with the skin. This prevents or avoids scratching, scraping, or really irritating the client. So, and once again, I'm double checking. That Facebook camera looks like it's a little bit low. That's better. We're way up in the top of the frame. We should be a little bit better. We're going to get that sideburn where we want it. Now, instead of running circles around our client to try to look at two different sideburns to make sure we've got them even, we're going to turn the finished sideburn towards the mirror. We're going to turn the finished sideburn towards the mirror. We're going to stand here, and by shifting our eyes, I can see two sideburns at once. I can see both of them, and I can come in, and I can block the line, turn the tool over, and clean up. Now I've created two sideburns that appear to be even. I create the appearance of that balance without running circles around them. Now, let's go to trimmer over comb. Let's go to our zoot comb. Let's go to our trimmer. Let's go to our detailing to taper in that sideburn. Notice we come in with the comb at an angle. We don't want to come in horizontally because where the hair accumulates in along the base of the teeth at the spine, that'll put lines or marks. We've got a nice big handle when we're working with our detailing comb because we're holding the other end. This is where this Zoot comb has become such a versatile tool for so many hair cutters. And notice, I'm working up that angled spine using that color contrast to beautifully taper in that sideburn in that same way on that opposite side. Sideburns, they appear to be even. Let's talk about ear areas, working around the ear. You want to think about the ear like it's a clock. 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock. When we cut around an ear, we don't want to cut from 9 to 3. We want to cut from 9 to 12 and from 3 to 12. It's two 15-minute segments stopping at top dead center, stopping at noon. So we come in and we cut up. And when we do that, notice, the last tooth on the end of your trimmer is always fat, thick, rounded, smooth, that last tooth. Now this is a T-blade trimmer that gives us even better access to tighter areas around the head. But we're going to come in and we're going to set that corner right on the skin and walk it up. And notice I don't do this one-handed. I hold the trimmer in one hand and on one hand. In one hand and on one hand for balance, stability, and control. And when I get to noon, when I get to top dead center, I pull out and away. I come back in and I come back up. And I connect my ear arc at the top at 12 o'clock. You know what I'm going to say next? Repeat on the opposite side. So now we've got our sideburn and our ear area tapered out or lined out. Now we have what we call the rear quarter panel. The rear quarter panel is the area from 3 o'clock to the bottom corner, from 9 o'clock to the bottom corner between my two fingertips on the back side of a men's haircut. Now, the rear quarter panel on a classic tapered cut should carry a block. And this is where I see people getting astray. You do not fade, you do not taper, you do not try to blend in off this line. This line right here on a proper tapered haircut is blocked. In this area, generally speaking, the hair grows down or slightly forward. Comb it down or slightly forward in its natural growth pattern or direction. Comb it the way it wants to go. Then on a client, you're going to take your finer comb, you're going to lift up that hair, and you're going to look to see where does the natural hairline start or stop. People have varying degrees of hairline back in through here. You want to see where that hairline starts or stops. And the rule here is you want to trim up to, but not into. Cut up to, but not into the natural hairline. There's two things you don't want to do. You don't want to cut into the hairline because you don't want a hard line with all that crud growing back out. And you don't want to angle into the hairline because you don't want to skinny the haircut. This is important visually because if you angle in at the neckline, you create the illusion that the haircut got narrow or skinny. Not only do you create the illusion that the haircut got skinny, but you create the illusion that his neck got fat. No one goes to their hair cutter and says, hey, can you cut my hair and can you make me look short and wide and heavy? I want a haircut that'll make me look dumpy. No one ever says that. People want to come in and they want to go out and they want to look tall, long, lean, strong, and masculine. And that requires balance in this area. What you don't want to create is a massive bald gap between the back of the ear and where their haircut starts and stops. You want to leave it to what they got genetically. So you comb the hair down or slightly forward, and you come in and you cut up to but not into. Do not intrude into the natural hairline. Tap that through, dust it off, turn the tool over, and then with your, I'm not sure why, oh, somebody went to screen share. Stop it. Don't share your screen. Come in and clean up. Non-moving blade against the skin. Don't be raking and scraping with the moving teeth. Clean up any hair outside the natural hairline. And of course, repeat on the opposite side. So you've got the two sides squared away. Now, necklines. Tapering necklines, fading necklines, blocking necklines. Let's get into a couple of choices and options here. If we're going to taper in a neckline, and there's plenty of people on whom we should never boom, boom, boom block a neckline, some hair types and some hair textures are more susceptible to blocking, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But for tapering, we're going to go to our adjustable blade clipper, and we might go to a 0 guard or a 1 guard, open the blade up, and come in. Raise the handle of the clipper. Don't have the clipper flat against the head. Raise the clipper up and drag it into the hairline as you're seeing me do. Notice I'm balancing the tool with the opposite hand. I'm coming up into the hairline like this, and I'm feathering this in. And notice as I'm going over that section, I'm beginning to lower the clipper down. Did you see what happened there? The clipper started like this, and little by little, I lowered it down. I started like this, and little by little, I lowered it down. That is allowing me to take advantage of the principle that this is shorter than this. This is longer than this. So by starting here and gradually dropping, I create a subtle taper along the bottom of the neckline. Now, if I do create any weight, and I've got a little bit of weight, but that weight is about 1/4 of an inch high above the neckline, this clipper is a JRL 1040. JRL 1040, 1040. All right, now I've got that little bit of weight line above, but look at it. You can now see that weight line in my gray comb that I can very easily notice. I'm not working down here at the bottom. I'm working just above that where the weight line exists. And I'm working off that weight line just a little bit. Now, if you are going to block a hairline, we have to address it because some people will. We don't block across. We block from the middle out to both sides. We don't start here and work our way across. As a right-handed hair cutter, if you start here and work your way across, you will almost always cut downhill. Downhill to the right, down, and it's going to be crooked. And you're going to see it's crooked, and it's going to look crooked, and you're going to be upset. So is the client, and especially his wife. But if you start in the center, one cut in the middle, and then you go to the right, then you come back to the left, then you go to the left, then you come back to the right, then you go to the right, and you come back to the left. So notice what I did there. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's moving out from both sides. Same way we cut a bob. We cut a bob center out to both sides like that for balance and symmetry. And then we can go in and we've got a couple of strays and we can touch a few things up. And that gives us a nice clean line when we're blocking in the back of the neckline. All right? So at this point, we've addressed sideburns, ear areas, quarter panels, necklines. I do want to address front lining. And there's not much we can do with it on a mannequin, but it's part of the picture framing conversation. And it's part of the details of a haircut. And you got to remember, when I got into the business 33 years ago, we never frontlined anyone ever. You just didn't do it. It wasn't a thing. No one ever did it. It started in the urban ethnic market. You started first seeing it on textured haircuts in urban ethnic communities and on urban ethnic clients. You started seeing lining across the front. Then it migrated a little bit into the Latino market. Then it migrated into the Asian market. And little by little, we started to see it in what we call the general market. On round-celled hair and more straighter textures, we started to see some lining and edging. And I got to be honest with you, if you ever saw the movie Dumb and Dumber, a lot of front-lined haircuts look dumber, or at the very least dumb. So when it comes to front lining, my suggestion is always, we missed the area because Facebook froze on us. Can you go over what you did by the ears again, please? Yes, we'll go back to the ears in just a minute if Facebook had frozen up. Give me a moment and we'll go there. When we're lining across the front, if a client asks for it, don't treat lining across the front of the haircut as an always. Don't treat it as an every haircut. Treat lining across the front of the haircut as a stop, pause, and think. And ask yourself the question, will lining the front of this haircut enhance or improve the haircut, or will it detract or take away from the haircut? Because I've never been frontline, don't do it to me. However, there are some haircuts on which front lining does look good, or does look appropriate, or does enhance the total look. I think we've arrived at a very dangerous place in the haircutting conversation today where everyone is automatically front lining everything. Don't do it. Give it a little bit of thought before you do it. Don't just follow everybody. If you are going to front line, a front line is like a back line. What I mean by that is you work center out to both sides and connect it through the corners. You don't front line across the head like that. You'll come up in the center, tap, 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 and expand out from both sides. Now, as is the case with almost all humans, we have a high and a low corner. One corner is higher than the other. The rule is don't follow the high corner, because then you're going to have to cut into the low corner. Follow the low corner. Follow the low corner out and mimic on the other side. It will not be symmetrical, but it will look as symmetrical as reasonably possible. What you don't want to do is you don't want to start pushing their hairline back. We see horrible pictures online of people who've been crept back over a series of haircuts and they've cut way into those hairlines. Those are examples of where front lining is not helping the haircut at all. They asked for a repeat over in Facebook land with regards to the ears. Jane, the ear is a clock, 12, 6, 9, and 3. 2 15-minute segments stopping at top dead center. Use the wide fat corner tooth on your trimmer, set it in place, and cut from 9 to 12 and stop. And come back and cut from 3 to 12 and stop. Do not try to cut from 9 to 3. When you connect it back through, you'll have those little inverted V-shaped notches cut into the hairline behind the ear. Those are called Mr. Spock spots. Don't do it. It's not going to look good. You want to do 2 15-minute segments stopping top dead center, or what we call midnight, at the top of the clock right there to cut around the ear area. I hope that helps. That's your little quick review. You'll be able to watch the Facebook. All right, oh, Facebook, it froze. You didn't see it there. I was going to say you can watch to see it and review later. You're welcome. No problem. All right. Now, as we talked about yesterday, when we talk about detailing, we talk about the little things. We got to get into the little things. We got to talk about eyebrows. We got to talk about ears. We got to talk about nose hair. Now, the little things don't mean a lot. They mean everything. These are the little things. When an old man falls asleep in your chair, when he wakes up near the end of a haircut, he will typically say to you, hey, did you get my eyebrows? You got to remember, when a guy with almost no hair on the top of his head, just a little bit of hair on the back and sides, when you're cutting his hair, his eyebrows, his ears, and his nose hair, that probably represents half the hair that's actually growing on his head. You can't be skipping these little things. Now, let's talk about eyebrows. Always ask. But the way you ask depends on who you're asking. I'm the dividing line. What I mean by that is anybody older than me, you got to ask one way. Anybody younger than me, you got to ask differently. What do I mean? Here's how it sounds. If the client is older than me, you ask with one word and a question mark. It sounds like this. Eyebrows? That's all you do. Eyebrows? You're going to come across people whose culture says we don't trim these, we don't do this, we leave these alone. You're going to come across people that like wild and crazy eyebrows. That's up to them. If you just trim it without asking, you might get them upset. You might not see that client again. But you ask. Eyebrows? With an older gentleman, he'll usually say, yes, please, thank you. Or, it's been too many haircuts, I need your help, thank you. Comb and a trimmer. Comb them down, trim, trim. Comb them up, trim, trim. Never, ever, ever go near anyone's eyes with a scissors. You're just asking for trouble. People are moving around. This is just not a good idea. Comb the hair down, comb the hair up. Get them nice and even. If there's a gap between the two, make it so there's only two, not one eyebrow. Comb them down, comb them up. You can also go over eyebrows with a guard. I'm actually going to do this. I said I was going to do something I've never done. What you're going to see right now, check out my eyebrows. See my eyebrows? Look at my eyebrows. Look at that eyebrow. Look at that eyebrow. They need it. Here we go, guys. I got an adjustable blade clipper. I got a number 1 guard. You can do this. I'm going to do it right now. There you go. So I'm not even using a mirror. That one. Live right here. I was a little low because I was on camera for the Zoom chat. I don't know if the Facebook guys caught it, if they were just looking at the top of my head. I'll see that in a minute when we get there. All right, hang on. I want to watch it. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. You going to get to see it, or is it going to be off camera? Oh, actually looks really good. Hope it didn't freeze up again. All right. Now, ears. Ears. Trimming ears. You're not supposed to be getting the hair on this side from this side. We're not digging and rooting around in there. When it's time to trim ears, grab the back of the ear and pull back slightly. Put your thumb on the front of the ear and push forward slightly. It causes that ear to kind of pop open. You grab the ear, trim, trim, or you push forward on the ear, snip, snip. With a blade trimmer with an extended T corner, it makes it very easy to get in there to get what you need to get. If there's hair growing on the ear, I've got hair growing on the top of the ear right there. Let's just come in there and take that right off. It's very easy. Top of the ear, fold the ear down forward and trim on the back of the ear. These are the little details that make a huge deal on our clients. Now, nose hair. Today, coronavirus, under the current circumstances, we're going to skip this. We're not doing this. We're not trimming nose hair. He's got a mask on for a haircut. On, but we are not going after nose hair. That's just a no-fly zone right now. That's kind of a no-no. It is what it is. So, we are not going to be addressing that. But I do think you should, perhaps even more so than ever now, we think you should offer perhaps nose hair trimming tools. You can buy small battery-operated or cordless nose hair trimmers very inexpensively, have them for sale at the front of the shop. But this is not that time. All right, that covers lining and edging. That covers some small haircut details. We got to go to questions. Q&A. What do you got? We got about 10 minutes left, give or take, here in the program. Has anybody got any questions about anything we talked about or anything we didn't in the program? David, waxing for nose hairs. You know what? Back in the old days, no problem at all. A lot of people doing a lot of waxing. Waxing this space here. Waxing this gap right here between the eyebrow and the temple. Waxing here along the orbital bone below the eye. I think all of those areas are areas that we're very good money-making ideas for doing these kinds of things, money-making opportunities. I think right now those are all on the no-fly list. Those are all on the no-go list. We may get back to some of these things sooner than later or later than sooner. I don't know the answer on that, but for right now, those are things we're not going to be doing. Because I'm wearing a mask or what? It seems to me that I'm sanitizing my tools, so why couldn't I do nose hair? Scott, the answer would be the tools are clean, absolutely, but in order for you to get near their nose, they got to take off their mask. They shouldn't be wearing the mask, or they shouldn't be not wearing the mask. They shouldn't be taking off the mask during the service, and you should not be up close like this. If you, put it this way, if you are close enough to clean their nose hair, In the current environment, you are too close. And if you can get to their nose, you are unprotected. And too close plus unprotected is a risk that is not okay for you or your family. And I would not suggest you doing that in the shop right now. Is something you offer with every man's haircut, ears, nose, and eyebrows? Yes, it's part of a haircut. It's not a bonus. It's not extra. It's not add-on. It's not nice. It's necessary, except for the nose right now under the current circumstances. So if you ask younger men, I forgot that, Jane. Thank you for mentioning that. I said older guys you ask with one word. Good catch, Jane. Young guys, watch carefully. Younger guys you ask like this. You simply tap their eyebrows with your comb. And here's why. It's nonverbal. Here's why. If I get to this point in a haircut on a younger guy, high school kid, college kid, and I tap their eyebrows, if they know what I'm doing and they want me to do it, they won't say a word. If they don't know what I'm doing, they're going to say, what are you doing? Well, I'm checking your eyebrows. Why? Because it's part of a haircut. Why? Because they grow. Why? Because you're getting older. Why? Because that's the way it works. This is how we train our clients. The only way a guy gets to be 45 years old with 17-inch eyebrows combed over his bald spot is if haircut professionals were not asking and addressing these things. So young people you ask with your comb. Tap, tap. They go, what are you doing? Oh, I'm checking your eyebrows. Okay. And now they know that that's part of your job. What do? You know, you tap them. If they say no, nothing at all, you just clean them. You do what you need to do, and they just accept it as part of that service. You don't have to have a whole conversation with them. But if they don't know what you're doing and they ask it, it gives you the opportunity to reinforce how professional you are, how complete your work is, how much you know what you're doing, and how well you're taking care of them. And that becomes to control distance with scissor over comb or clipper over comb work. The system comes with the guard set, or the Zoot combs are available solo, packaged without the guards, just by itself like this. I have 12 of these on my station. I use these one for every single customer because it's your everything comb. It's your clipper comb, it's your scissor comb, it's your razor comb, it's your blender comb, it's your lining, edging, and detailing comb, it's your clipper over comb, it's your cut in the top comb, it's your flat topping comb. Totally versatile, designed to be the one and only comb you'll ever need and the best comb you'll ever buy and you'll ever have. That's your Zoot comb, of course, ivanzoot.com to order yours today. Other questions? Anybody got anything else? Having a lot of freeze-up challenges with the old Facebook today. I'm not sure why that is. Got to be frustrating out in Facebook land. I apologize, guys, and I appreciate you being here. All right, if that's all we have for questions, if that's all we have for comments and contributions, we are going to be back at 11 o'clock with our program on memberships. What a membership is for haircutting, how to build, design, and structure memberships for haircutting, how to execute a membership program, how to make membership programs work. And in this day and age, in the circumstances in which we currently exist with a de-emphasizing of walk-in traffic, in some cases an elimination of walk-in traffic, a focus on appointments and a focus on knowing who's in your chair and building that tighter relationship with those that you serve, the membership conversation is even more valuable. Don't be late. That's right. You got it. We'll see you there at 11. Have a great morning, guys. Bye-bye. Thanks for being here.